Here we go. This is our Unit 9 test review. This is page number 2. I'm not going to fill in all these formulas. You guys can write those all out. You don't need a video explaining those. So let's just jump straight to these. Now, this first one, answer all of it using the pictures below. What is the name of this shape? First and foremost, this is a prism. All right, I know it's a prism because it has two bases. The bases are those non-rectangular sides on this guy. In this case, it's a triangle, so we call it a triangular prism. Triangular prism. All right, they're asking us for the lateral area. I know the formula for the lateral area is equal to the perimeter of the base, so there's a capital P, times the height of the prism. Now, the perimeter, that's just, again, just for every shape, no matter what, the perimeter is just the sides added together. Now, if you look at this one, we do not know this guy over here, but we have a right triangle. And we've done this a million times now. I know if I have two sides of a right triangle, I can always find the third using the Pythagorean theorem. So let's just plug it all in. A and B have to be the two legs. So we have 8 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. This, now if you remember this one, it'll save you some time. This is a Pythagorean triple, so c is 10. If you don't remember that, you're going to have to work through the formula, but you guys are more than capable of doing that. So c is 10. So if we look at the lateral area, we need the perimeter, and the perimeter is just 10 plus 8 plus 6. All right, so 10 plus 8 plus 6, that gives us 24. So the perimeter is 24. Now the height, capital H, that is the distance between the two bases. So in this picture, that's the distance between our two triangles. So our height here, capital H, equals 12. All right, so the lateral area is just going to be the perimeter of the base times the height. 24 times 12. I don't know what that is. 24 times 12, 288. That's 288. All right, now the surface area is the lateral area plus the two bases. All right, we have not found the area of those bases yet. Capital B is the area of the base. All right, so if you look at this one, I mentioned it before, the base is a triangle. We need to find the area of that triangle. So I'm going to say capital B equals this whole unit. We had to be careful because we had capital letters and we had lowercase letters, and they meant two different things. So capital B is an area. So that variable is a formula in and of itself. It's an area, so it's the area of this triangle. The area of a triangle is 1/2 lowercase b times lowercase h. All right, so in this case, we're going to have 1/2 times 6 times 8. All right, and that's going to give us 24. All right, so this front shape here has an area of 24. This back triangle here has an area of 24 because the two bases are congruent. So this is going to be equal to 288 plus 2 times 24. And I don't know what that is. 288 plus, what do we got? 48. 336. All right. And the volume of this guy is just going to be capital B times capital H, the area of the base, times the height. So that's going to give us 24 times 12. 24 times, wait a minute. Did I do something right? 6 times 8. 6 times 8 divided by 2 is 24. 10 plus 6 plus 8. Wow, the volume of the lateral area are going to be the same thing in this problem. That's not good because half of you guys are going to ask me if that's true every time. So I got a 288 here. All right, so I'm pretty sure I did everything correctly. 18, 19, 20. So 24 times the height and then the base times. All right, so the lateral area and the volume in this problem happen to be the same number. That's not always going to be the case. All right, so don't think that's always going to be true. All right, now this next one, the slant height is 5. All right, so the slant height goes from the vertex to the middle of a face. All right, so that is 5. This is a square pyramid. All right. The height. How can we find the height? So the height, or sometimes we call it the altitude, it's just going to drop straight down to the middle of the base. All right. So if we look at this guy, we can make another right triangle here. So maybe off to the side, we'll do something like this. Here is our height. The slant height is a 5. This piece right here is going to be a 4, right? I know the side lengths have a side length of 8. So if I just chop that in half, then I'm going to get 4 right here. Um, and again, Pythagorean theorem, so h squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. That is going to be, that's another Pythagorean triple, so the height here is 3. All right, now the next one. The lateral edge, that is something that we have never talked about. So I'm going to save it for the test for you. This is not on your test, so don't ask me if this is on your test, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right, that is this piece right here. All right, how can we figure out that lateral edge? What we need to do is we need to figure out this guy, and that is actually a radius. So if you want to kind of think about it, oh, how do we want to think about that? It ends up being, I'm just going to do it. It's 4 squared or 2. All right, you could figure that one out if you really wanted to. We know the height is 3. So if I just draw this triangle here, I got 4 square root of 2 times, and then I got 3 here. Pythagorean theorem, that's going to give me this value here. So I could say 4 square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. That's going to give us 16 times 2 is 32 plus 9 is c squared. C equals the square root of 41. 41. All right. Again, you're not going to have one on your like that on your test. Don't ask me. That'll be a good indicator of who watches these videos because people who don't watch these videos are all going to ask me about it. All right. The lateral area is 1/3 the perimeter of the base times the height. All right. The perimeter of the base is a square. All right. So P, capital P is 8 times 4, which gives us 32. So this is going to be 1/3 times 32 times 3. All right, and you're clever. You can notice that the 1/3 and 3 are going to cancel each other out. So we're just left with 32. All right, the surface area is LA plus 1 base, right? There's only a single base in a pyramid, just that bottom piece here. So we're going to have 32 plus 8 times 8 is 64. What is that? Does that give us 90, 96? All right. And the volume formula is 1/3 capital B times H. All right. So that is going to be 1/3 times the base, which was 64, times the height, which is 3. So the volume of this guy is 64. 64 what? 64 cubic inches. The lateral area, surface area, those are all square inches. And then the height and the lateral edge, those are just regular inches. All right, so that one's done. Again, don't worry about the lateral edge. All right, and this last one here, this should go quick. This is a cylinder. All right, we have a cylinder, the lateral area. Fortunately for a cylinder, the lateral area is pretty easy. It was pi. How about this? 2 pi r times h, right? That's kind of the walls on this thing. So what you're doing is you're taking the perimeter of the base, which is a circle. The perimeter of the base we call the circumference. So this part right here, that's the circumference of a circle. All right, so the circumference of the circle times the height. All right, that's going to give us the lateral area. So we're going to have 2 times pi times 6 times 8. All right, 6 times 8 is 48, times 2 is going to give us 96. So we got 96 pi. 96 pi. All right, surface area is the lateral area plus the 2 bases. So I'm just going to say, all right, capital B equals pi times 6 squared. 6 squared is 36. We got 36 pi. All right, so your surface area is going to be 96 pi plus 2 times 36. Pi, that's going to give us, oh, what is that? 72. 72 plus 96. 72 plus 96, that gives us 168. All right, and the volume. Volume for a cylinder, that is the area of the base times the height, just like any other prism. All right, but the area of the base is pi r squared. So we're going to have pi r squared times the height. All right, so that's going to be pi times 6 squared times the height. That's going to be 36 times 8 gives us 288. I feel like that number's popped up somewhere else here. 288 pi. And so the volume is 288 pi. All right, and that one's done. And that page is done. 2 down, 3 to go. So see you in the next one.